When you get discarded by a narcissistic person, it is often painful, and it is done in some of the most hideous and cruelest ways. And what a lot of people want to know is the discard final? Now, when you've first been discarded by a narcissistic person, it can be heartbreaking, as there is no closure in it whatsoever, and they often move on very fast, usually with somebody you know. When it comes to a narcissistic person moving on fast, this isn't normal. Most people take time to process and overcome the breakup of any relationship because they have things such as object constancy, which means even when there is disagreements, even when there is distance, they still care about the other person. Narcissistic people lack the empathy to care, which is why they find it so easy to just move on. And they're also looking for someone for that external validation to prove to themselves that they're normal, that what they do is okay, and that the other person that they've discarded is the one with the problem. Now, when they've discarded somebody, that person has usually got little to no closure. So often it's not actually closure that we're looking for, it's understanding. We want to understand what on earth has just happened, because we don't understand. We don't understand how somebody can claim to care for you and love you and be there for you and then just up and leave you, disappear on you, move in with somebody new straight away. We don't understand how we can raise our children, and our children can be so hurtful towards us when they become adults. We don't understand why our parents can suddenly just walk out of our lives. We're looking for that understanding. So when a narcissistic person leaves you with no closure and moves straight in with somebody new, us looking for understanding often plays straight into their hands, because we go chasing them, looking for answers. We go ringing them. We go stalking their social media, looking for answers, trying to work out, trying to gain the understanding and the knowledge of what on earth has just happened and who on earth this person is, which plays straight into the narcissist's hands, because they will then accuse us of being obsessed with them. They'll accuse us of being hung up on them. They'll accuse us of not letting them go. They'll accuse us of stalking them. They'll accuse us of not letting them go, because we're searching for those answers. And then when we do get the understanding, when we do realise what we're dealing with, the final discard often comes from you, when you realise that you're just not going to go back. You're not going to take it anymore. You're no longer interested. You've got new things in your life to do. You've gained an awareness of people that you wish you'd never gained an awareness of. You wish these kinds of people didn't exist. You might still look into narcissism to understand it more and make sure you don't fall for it again. However, there comes a point, and it's different from person to person, where you just know more with that person. The final discard comes from you, which is then when a narcissistic person can then come in for the Hoover, because they're no longer getting the attention they desire from you, because they believe they own you, they believe they're entitled to you. So they will come along with the pity plays. They might come along like nothing ever happened. They might come along with the sob stories. They are going to try and hoover you back into the relationship. They might come with the false apologies that they've seen the light and they're willing to go to counselling and things will change. And this is usually just because they've discarded the new supply. The new supply is no longer working out for them. With most narcissistic people, the discard isn't final. The discard is when they fall silent on you for a while, or when they ghost you for a while, or when they move on with somebody new. And even when they're ghosting you, they're usually with somebody new. Now, adult narcissistic children can do this to their parents when they believe their parents haven't agreed with them, taken their side, done something for them, they can then cut their parents out and just refuse to communicate with them. Point blank refuse to communicate with them until they need something from their parents, like a babysitter for their children while they try and impress the new supply. And then they will just turn up like nothing ever happened and ask for a favour. They can do this with their friends. They can do something. They can try and get with their best friend's partner. They can hurt their friends in some of the most cruelest ways. One person's narcissistic partner is another person's narcissistic parent, child, ex, friend, boss, co-worker, whatever relationship people have to that narcissist. So they can treat their friend horrifically. And when the friend finds out, the narcissist can take offence and ghost the friend, fall silent on the friend, not give the friend any closure. And then when they want something from that friend 6 months or years down to the line, they'll turn up like nothing ever happened. Hey, long time no see. How's things been? I'm sorry for what you think I did. Things along those lines. They will do it to their children. When their children don't give them the admiration they believe they're entitled to, they will point blank refuse to pick their children up. They will ignore their children. They will put their children down. They will do all they can to get out of seeing their other children, all while blaming somebody else, because nothing is ever the narcissistic person's fault. So they will blame somebody else, be it the children's other parent or work. They will find an excuse to justify. And then when they want something from those children, they'll swoop in and they will love bomb. They will start taking the children places, buying them excessive gifts, offering them that flattery to love bomb them back into the relationship. They discard their partners when they're no longer getting what they believe are their needs met by their partners, which is that excessive admiration. And you cannot, no matter how much attention you give a narcissist, it is simply not enough for them. They are incredibly envious people who feel entitled to exploit others and lack the empathy to care for how their behaviour makes other people feel. So their partner can just have an illness and the narcissist isn't going to be there to support their partner. They lack the empathy to care. They're going to disengage from their partner and they're going to find somebody who will give them the attention that they believe they're entitled to. Some narcissistic people can, due to the identity, the illusion they're trying to sell to those around them, some narcissistic people can seemingly stay in a long-term relationship. However, on the inside, it's not much of a relationship because the narcissist is usually off doing their own thing and neglecting their partner in many ways, financially, physically, even down to food. They are neglecting their partner behind closed doors and they're off seeking that attention elsewhere. So with most narcissistic people, the discard means to get rid of something that you no longer find of use to you. And with a narcissistic person, they discard people because they no longer find those people of use to them at that present moment in time. Or they become envious of someone else, something else, and they seek to exploit that person with no regard to the person's feelings that they are discarding. With some narcissistic people, the discard can be permanent, which is hard to hear when you're going through the trauma bond. However, that is the easiest narcissistic person you can deal with, one that will up and leave and stay gone. That's what most people can hope for, might not at that moment when they've first been discarded. However, with most narcissistic people, the discard is temporary. It is more of that disengagement where they will fall silent on you, or they will ghost you, or they will move on with somebody new and flaunt it in your face to gain those reactions from you so that they can play the victim and blame you to all those around them. When it comes to the narcissist, the discard often isn't the final stage, as they do often come back in with the Hoover. This can vary. They can discard you and they can smear your name to gain the sympathetic attention, and they're not going to take responsibility. So by smearing your name, by ruining your reputation, by discrediting your character, they can lay all the blame at your door and they can gain all the sympathetic attention from those around them and shake off any form of responsibility. And when they're not getting what they want from somebody else, or when they're seeing you doing well for yourself, they can come back for the Hoover. Or they can discard you, they can then come and Hoover you, and if the Hoover fails, they might start smearing your name. There's a cycle that narcissistic people follow. They come on strong and they love bomb to sell you an illusion that they're you. They borrow your personality and mirror it back to you. They sell you back to you. They sell you everything you want to hear. Then once they've given you that false sense of security, once they've got you where they want you, they start to invalidate you. They start to put you down. They start to discredit you. They start to make you feel like you're worth less than you are. And then they will usually find a replacement so that they can discard you. And when they've discarded you, they might then smear your name, or they might decide to Hoover you. And in between the put downs and the discard and the replacement, there might be those intermittent reinforcements of the love bombing. But it is a cycle, it's a pattern of behaviour, and it's usually a pattern of behaviour that not all, but the majority of narcissistic people follow with everyone within their lives, with their parents, with their children, with their friends, and with their family. It's a pattern they follow. They make one person feel special and like they've got it right, while they treat everybody else horrifically. The pattern ends when we resist the temptation to go back. When we resist the temptation to forgive them, because they're only human and we all make mistakes. But when it's a repeat mistake, it's not a mistake, it's who they are. And the more we forgive them, the worse their behaviour gets, as they believe they can get away with it. It's hard walking away from people that you care about. However, when it comes to a narcissistic relationship, their discard is often the disengagement. You walking away is what ends the relationship. With some, you might have to hang in for the ride, as there's all the post-separation abuse. With others, if they fear exposure, they're more likely to leave you alone. If anyone has any thoughts on this video or any patterns of behaviour you noticed after the discard, please do add those into the comments. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers, and your continued support with the channel is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot get no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.